Welcome to episode 87, as we were just talking about. Our guest today is Peter Meyerhoff, and I'm really excited to dive in. And as we were talking before we jumped in, it was just so funny, that little connection that I knew we had you coming, and then I saw that you had gone to Echoes, and I was like, wait, he's going to be on our podcast. So I love that.
Shout out to Echoes.
Yeah, shout out to Echoes and Pastor Daniel. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we love, if you know anything about what we do and what we were talking about earlier, we want to hear your story, right? We want to go back to the beginning. Tell us, where did you grow up? And really, how did you get to be where you are today?
That's going to take a long time.
Let's go.
All right.
We got time.
So yeah, thanks for having me. I'm actually from Ahwatukee. So, you know, it's funny. I always said I had a great childhood growing up, and I didn't know until I had kids that I didn't have the best childhood. So, but like I would say,
hold on though. I think a lot of people probably relate to that.
Yeah.
Crazy K-Go.
For sure, which is like, and that's another thing too, is like I talk a ton about sobriety and all that stuff, but now that I have two new kids, like I'm all about like parenting, making dads be good dads, and making parents just be great parents. So there's nothing more important than that.
Which is huge, and again, not to go off on a tangent, but fathers in a home is so impactful. And I think on the flip side, fatherless homes have been so impactful in our society as a whole.
Not only that, but good fathers though, like present dads, not just dads that just watch TV and do stuff like that, like I saw.
Like be intentional.
Oh yeah, I'm present. I change all the diapers when I'm home. Like I wake up every day. Yeah, we're on 3 hours of sleep today. Like so.
I think I saw a clip where you commented on something your wife said about how, oh man, that must have been tough, talking about somebody's childhood, and you're like, wait a minute, that was mine.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like, but up until 10 years old, like I was a kid. Like my dad was on drugs and drinking, but I didn't know. I was a kid, and we just played sports in the streets all day long. Never touched video games.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah, one little brother. We're 18 months apart, which is cool because my sons are the same, so I get to rewrite my whole childhood with them. And
isn't that sorry, I'm gonna keep interrupting you, but isn't that the truth? I think so often as parents we do that. I love that you said like rewrite that. Because I think we do that. And it's like you want to give your kids what you didn't have.
Well, you know why God did that too is because like I'm at peace with everything in my life. Like when I go talk to people now, it's like you can make $1 million in 7 different careers and change your career every other week if you wanted to. You never get your childhood years back. Yeah. So I'm at peace with everything in my life except for screwing off my childhood years. You know, like I was a top athlete, didn't play a single game of high school sports, dropped out freshman year, but I'll get to that. Anyway, so there was a fight. I remember just one argument in my kitchen. It was my mom and dad, and one thing I'll say is they either didn't fight in front of me a lot or I didn't remember, because my mom says they did, but I don't remember it. I just remember this one big fight. And then the next day they had a talk with us how they were getting it separated. I was like, what does that mean? They're like,
how old were you?
10, I think. So they're like, we're gonna live at different houses. And I remember I lost it. All I remember was the way they put us back together was they said, well, if we get back together, we'll get to limousine and stuff like that. So we'll do like a whole wedding, then you guys can ride around the limousine again. And I'm just like, all right, cool, whatever. My dad, went off the deep end for a little bit. I don't even know what he did. We went and lived in like ghetto-ass Mesa off like Broadway, and I don't even know, but like some hood-ass apartments out there for a little while. And, and then my mom was a flight attendant, so I'm home 4 or 5 nights a week with myself as a kid, So like in middle school, that's when all the trouble started,
So you guys lived with your mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my brother we both lived with my mom right after, so my dad was not in a position to take care of us. He ended up getting sober a couple years later, and then got like a decent little starter place or whatever, and rebuilding his life, And my brother and him had always been really close. So my brother went back and lived with my dad. I always stayed with my mom. I was a mama's boy, and of course I can run wild and do whatever I want at her house that doesn't fly at my dad's house. So I stay there, and middle school.
Why did you stay?
I love my mom, and I was mad at my dad, like my mom had to leave my dad because of who he was, you know what I'm saying? So I was totally on my mom's side, 100%.
I heard somebody else was talking about this, that when parents had separated, the dad had cheated, whatever, and a child who's now an adult had said, he didn't leave my mom, he left us. Right?
People don't realize how much kids do know, and they recognize and just know what's going on, so.
How much do you think that divorce impacted you and your decisions?
A ton, and I didn't know that. So like, that's what I was gonna say, like randomly, I just had one of my middle school teachers reach out to me, and she's just like, she saw one of my posts or something, and she's like, I can't believe I'm so proud of you. She's like, I was always so worried about you, and she's like, I don't mean to blame your parents, but she's like, I would always blame your parents, and she's like, and this is while I'm kind of doing the digging, I was like, holy shit, so my parents weren't great. I was like, and then I asked her, I was like, do you mind telling me, like, what did my parents do or whatever? Yeah. She's like, I don't know what they did. She's like, I could just see after the divorce, you just weren't the same. She's like, I could see it in your eyes.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, it's kind of crazy hearing that stuff, And it's like, to me, now my biggest fight now is like, I want my parents to apologize to me. And my
You
wife's,
do?
yeah, my wife's like, get over it. Like, they're not gonna, it is
Yeah.
what it is, you know, but I'm like,
You're gonna already make me cry. It's like so much is touching for me, but that idea, like I think we crave that, you know, that we want that apology. It will never come, and you can't hold on to that, you know. But at the same time, like how powerful an apology could be, right?
and how could you not?
How could you not?
Like, how if that was my son Quincy or True, like, how could I not say whatever they want me to say to make them feel better?
Right? Wouldn't you want to?
Yeah.
And also, I think as a kid, you go through that stuff. Like, for example, your mom being gone for 4 days at a time, and you're like, you kind of know that this isn't right, but you just go with it.
Yeah.
It's not until you're an adult you're like, that actually really wasn't right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's why I started not going to school. It's hard to wake up in the morning. If you don't have a parent there waking you up,
Totally.
I'm
I
not
don't
waking
think
up.
my son would go if
I would wake up
wasn't
at 10,
there.
11 o'clock, and I'd go to school at noon if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So I gave myself that, and then when I got to high school, I gave myself like the senior schedule right away, and I didn't make it. I didn't last, a month or two in high school. But that's when everything really changed in high school. I try to talk about this now to be open because it can happen so easily.